Heya guys! It's me, Julia! Today's video is a tutorial on how to edit your pictures so that you awaken the fierce Sharingan. Or any other eye for that matter. So, without further ado, let's begin. First of all, we need to find a picture. You can edit one of your own photos or find one online. I used this one I found on Unsplash by Chris Joel Campbell. For this project you can use Photoshop, but since it is quite expensive, I decided to show you how to use a free online alternative called Photopea, which has all the tools that we need for this project. First of all, let's create a copy of the layer by dragging it onto the new layer icon. Now we need to cover the pupil, or it's going to give us some problems later. So, let's select it with the Ellipse Selection tool. To create a perfect circle, press and hold Alt and Shift, while you drag the cursor to create the selection. Now, to cover the pupil, we're going to use the Patch tool by clicking and dragging from the center of the pupil to the iris. Now that the pupil is gone, let's select the entire iris using the Pen tool. It works by creating anchors that are connected to one another through points that you can move by holding the left button of your mouse to create the curve that you want. If you want to modify these levers, you can click on them while holding Alt on your keyboard. Or if you want to drag the anchor points themselves, you can click on them while holding Ctrl on your keyboard. Now that we have our path, let's right-click on the center of it and click on Make Selection to select the iris. What we want to obtain is as much of a blank canvas as we can. To do this, we will use the tool Color Replacement with 0% hardness and with the color white on the level copy of our picture. Next, we create a new layer on top without deselecting the iris, and we use the Paint Bucket tool to fill the selection in white. Now let's deselect the iris and import a Sharingan by dragging it onto the canvas. When you choose the Sharingan to use, make sure it's a flat design. You will find many realistic looking Sharingans on the internet, but for this particular project, it's better to use a flat one. You will see later why. When you import it in the project, it may be considered a smart object. In this case, you just need to right-click on the layer and hit Rasterize. Now we can transform it by going to Edit, Free Transform. What we want to do is positioning it so that it lies perfectly on the white iris. To make things easier, you can lower the opacity so that you can clearly see where you're positioning the eye. After the eye is in the right position, we right-click on the layer with the Sharingan and click on Clip in Mask. This will cut the Sharingan so that it fits perfectly on the iris. Next, select both the Sharingan and white iris layers. Right-click and hit Convert to Smart Object. They will become a single layer that we won't risk accidentally modifying. Now is when the magic happens. We're going to change the blending mode of the layer to Overlay, and voila! This is why we needed a flat Sharingan to begin with. We can also darken the eye to make it more dramatic by selecting the eye by left-clicking while holding Ctrl on the Sharingan eye layer and then painting on a new layer with a soft brush and black paint, then adjusting the opacity as we like. This photo shows both eyes, so let's quickly do the second one.
A few minutes later.
We could finish the project here, but to give more of a gloomy atmosphere, we can use the same brush that we used to darken the eyes and paint around the frame, adjusting the opacity as we go. We then export it and let me know what you thought of this tutorial in the comments below. And if there was anything you didn't understand, don't be scared to ask. Make sure to tag me on social media if you follow this tutorial. You can find me on Instagram as @JuliArtYT and on Twitter as @JuliArt_YT. I can't wait to see your creations. In the meantime, Happy New Year and see you next week. Bye!